On this episode of the Neutral Wisdom podcast, Satanist and Satanic Warlock Robert Shirley discusses what Satanism means to the individual and is joined by Miz Wiz, again, as well as featured audio clips from different Satanists around the world. You are listening to the Neutral Wisdom podcast, a podcast dedicated to passing on knowledge and experience from a satanic perspective, hosted by Satanist and Satanic Warlock Robert Shirley. Special thanks to the following: Arashi Enyo, Delilah Charmer, Dirk Don, Frankie Hollywood, Grendel Deathhawk, Grigori Cross, Isaiah Burt, Jason Soto, Carl Svensson, Logan Liming, Mark Hill, Marcus Knox, Robert Leuthold, and Tim Rice.
What Satanism means to me is living my best life every day, loving every minute of it, and squeezing every drop of pleasure out of it that I can. Because I am hell on wheels, and I will triumph over everything. Except, maybe stairs. Because, fuck stairs. Not literally, of course, because that would hurt.
Satanism gave me a perspective, a door to walk through, a way to be myself.
To me, Satanism is about having the freedom to do and choose what's best for your life. Now, people think that it gives you the thinking that you can do whatever you want. And while that is true, we Satanists make decisions off of reason, logic, and know that whatever decision we make in our lives, we are ultimately responsible for any consequence or action afterwards. Responsibility to the responsible.
Hi, I'm Dirk Don, Internet Wizard. You might see me online in Facebook groups doing what I love, laughing at idiots online and correcting the record on my religion. In my own terms, Satanism is simply fun. It's taking walks outside with classical music radio, watching anime with my wife. She loves Furin, by the way. Learning for fun, not worrying about judgment from a being that I don't believe in. Eating pork. It's also taking care of myself, listening to my doctor, protecting my family. In short, recognizing my mortality and allowing the time to be enriched while creating moments that I look back at saying, and I'll fucking do it again.
Frankie Melted Chopsticks Hollywood here. What does Satanism mean to me? Satanism is my religion. It is a way of life for me. If you want to learn more about Satanism, pick up the Satanic Bible, listen to the Neutral Wisdom podcast, listen to Satansplain, head on over to the Church of Satan website. They have a lot of literature on what it means to be a Satanist. And really, I love the 9 satanic sins, and the first one is don't be stupid. It makes a lot of sense, people, and I love it.
Greetings and welcome to the Neutral Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Satanist and Satanic Warlock Robert Shirley, and today we're going to be talking about what Satanism means to us, me and you. I'll be joined later by Miz Wiz, who demanded her contractual one show per season episode, as she's a brand new Satanist. We'll also be listening to clips from you, the listener, explaining what Satanism means to you. Maybe this podcast will really resonate with you. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll bring you closer to studying and applying Satanism in your life. Maybe you'll run screaming the other way. Really, and no offense intended, I don't care either way because Satanism is for the individual, and it's up to you as to how you see it. There's an excellent miniseries on the Church of Satan YouTube channel where some more senior members of the organization talk about what Satanism means to them. I'll make sure to link it in the show description for your reference. It's an excellent guideline to show what can be accomplished when you apply Satanism in your life. And that's cool and everything, but when I was new to Satanism, I kind of wanted more information from people like me. Newbies, as it were. I mean, sure, the higher-ups provide great information, but what's it like for the regular Joe? Because I can learn just as much from my peers in the organization as I can from the higher degrees, right? With any information, one can always appreciate where it comes from, but the source can seem unattainable or far away from you, especially when you're just starting out. For example, Catholics don't get to speak with the Pope when they join the Catholic Church. In fact, most will never even get near him in their entire lives. Luckily for us, our Black Pope is a little more accessible, but when you're new to Satanism, you're not calling him to ask him out for a coffee. I mean, you can try, but I wouldn't recommend it. Since the focus of my writing in this podcast is to demonstrate how Satanism does apply to the average Joe, why not do an episode on what Satanism means to the average Joe? We're all working hard and applying this philosophy too. Let's take the opportunity to share it with each other. I asked for your audio clips on what Satanism means to you, and we're going to play them here today. Thanks to everyone who submitted a clip for sharing. It's going to help us noobs see how this stuff really works. So, what is Satanism exactly? A religion? A philosophy? A way of life? Regardless of how you look at it, I think Satanism is whatever you make of it. It's a religion, a philosophy, a way of life, all based on the individual. Of course, we have our guidelines, the Satanic statements, the 11 Satanic rules of the earth, the 9 Satanic sins, and these form the foundation for our beliefs. The thing I love most about all of those is the ability to interpret and apply them as we see fit, within actual reason and not misinterpreting them to excuse your own stupidity. See Satanic sin number 1. Because we have that ability, Satanism means different things to different people. No one interpretation is wrong as long as you are applying the philosophy correctly. And by correctly, I mean in the way it was intended when codified by Anton LaVey in 1966. Which kind of brings me to the other satanic organizations. Are they wrong in their own beliefs and interpretation of Satanism? Obviously, some of those started out with the Church of Satan, but for whatever reason, whether they disagreed with the philosophy or felt they weren't being promoted fast enough, they left to do their own thing. And as to their own thing, some believe in Satan as an actual deity. We don't. Some believe in political grandstanding to draw attention to themselves. We don't. Some people believe that elevation to positions of leadership is owed to them by simply paying a fee. We don't. Personally, I don't give a damn what they believe. They have no bearing on me at all. I see these pseudo groups the way I look at people who cosplay or go to Renaissance fairs. If you like it, more power to you. Just leave me out of it. And no offense to cosplayers or Renaissance fair goers, I know you're out there. To me, Satanism is about the individual. It's the freedom to embrace who you are and what you have to offer the world instead of hiding away in fear and shame. It's freedom from past guilts, dealing with your shadow self, formulating and embracing your is-to-be. But further to that, Satanism to me is the responsibility to committing to those things. Because let's face it, it takes a lot of balls to be a Satanist. It takes courage to be different, to be better, and we are better simply by virtue of unashamedly being who we are. The herd can't say that, but we can. I'm going to expand further on what Satanism means to me in today's essay, and then we'll bring on Miz Wiz to talk about how Satanism has impacted her and life in our home. This essay is titled, The Why Question: What Satanism Means to Me. What? You're a what? Why? Why on earth would you ever become one of those? What is wrong with you? What are you, some kind of weirdo? Is it some sort of rebellious act? Did you think it was cool? You're going to go to hell, you know that, right? Your parents must be so disappointed in you. Grandma is rolling over at her grave right now. So what are we talking about here? It could be anything, really. One could experience the above reaction for anything one would disclose which could be considered against the norm, be it coming out, being a furry, knitting, going to clown college, you name it. If so-called regular society doesn't do it, you're labeled as different. In our case, though, assuming my listenership is of the same ilk as myself, we are Satanists. Talk about going against regular society. I'm sure you've probably faced a similar response from somebody at some point about a decision you've made. How did you respond? Did you try to answer why to a set of ears which are pretty much close to you, having been blocked by their own opinion? Because no reason you ever give will be good enough. I had the why question come up about becoming a Satanist, but not with people. I had it with myself. Rather, I had it with the Catholic guilt and fear which I still carried around with me. Talk about programming. It takes a long time to get over years of heavy brainwashing. Even when you do see the light and start to realize that conventional religion is pretty much all bullshit, there's still that little niggling fear in the back of your mind. What if they were right and I'm wrong? That makes it really hard to answer why. I believe that question and that fear will always come up in your mind at some point. I think that is the time where you have to look past the actual question and go a little deeper. To me, this is a huge step in the reprogramming process. You have to get past the obvious preconceived notions, everything you've been told your whole life, the worrying about what everybody else thinks, and get to the why for yourself. I think the answer to any why question is to understand what the subject really means to you. It would be at that point you wouldn't have to answer why with a reason. Your answer would simply be, because I am that I am, to borrow from some burning bush in a well-known religious book. Hey, it was good enough for them. So how did I answer why, especially in my own head? Yeah, why? Why would I choose such a difficult path for myself, knowing full well that I would face a lot of adversity? Why would I go against the norm and believe what I believe? Why would I publish a book and market it to a population who has such a fear of a certain word in the title? Because I am that I am. I am a Satanist. And how did I come to this conclusion? By determining exactly what Satanism means to me. To me, Satanism is the freedom to be myself without guilt. I was made to feel like I was a bad person for years, whether it was by the church or my parents and family. I was never good enough, although for what was never really specified. I was told that loving and accepting myself was selfish and wrong. Satanism is the freedom to understand and accept me the way I am. I don't have to feel guilty about having feelings. I don't have to feel guilty about liking myself. After all, I am pretty terrific. Just ask me. Satanism is the right to not to have to like everybody. Because believe me, I don't. But that's bad according to conventional religion and to a certain extent even by the perceived social contracts we have in society. Satanism is the freedom to live for myself, and that means not having to subject myself to situations or people I don't like. Sure, I can be professional if I have to be. I can interact with you as much as I have to. Then when our business is done, so are we. Even better, since I treat people as they treat me, I can give as good as I get depending on the interaction I have. And I don't feel bad about that at all, which is very freeing. Satanism is the embracing of things society and conventional religion are against. 4 words: the 7 deadly sins. The personal deprogramming I worked through, with help of the study of Satanism, showed me that all the so-called 7 deadly sins are the greatest indulgences of all. Pride. I work hard and accomplish a lot of things. Why shouldn't I be proud of myself? Greed. Wanting more for myself makes me work harder to earn and achieve. Lust. Miz Wiz. Enough said, and you're welcome for the mental imagery there. Envy. If I see that you have something and I want it, guess what? I'm going to work hard to get it too. Gluttony. I like food. Well, that much is pretty obvious if you look at me. And cocktails and premium cigars. So what? I indulge because I can. Wrath. I love the common sense approach of the Satanic Bible on this. Why turn the other cheek when you'll get that one slapped too? Hit the guy back. I might be paraphrasing here a little bit, but this is the message I took away from it. Sloth. Hey, my weekends are mine. I'm going to do what I want. If that means sitting on my deck with a cigar and a rusty nail for 2 days, then that's what it means. And recognizing indulgence, not compulsion, I'm smart enough to know when I'm getting close to crossing the line. Indulging is awesome. Addiction, not so much. Satanism is the realization that I can accomplish great things and not to waste time. Look at the people in this organization and all they've accomplished. And those are just the ones you know about. I take great inspiration from others when I see what they're doing. In fact, when I'm inspired, the question that comes to my mind is, why am I not doing this? And if I can do it, so can you. In fact, I wager you can do it better. So what are you waiting for? Put down the phone and go be productive. Satanism is the ability to recognize, name, and use lesser magic every day. I've mentioned that I've always been somewhat of a lesser magician, only I didn't know it. It was only after studying Satanism and understanding our definition of magic that I was able to consciously apply it. Sure, I had always used it before, but at that time it was more like a reflex. I didn't really know what was happening. Now, I study more subjects which tie into lesser magic and apply all of them. Neurolinguistic programming, cold reading, emotional intelligence. These all contribute to what I naturally already have and make me a more formidable lesser magician. Satanism is the encouragement to study and learn. After high school and college, I pretty much just settled into life. I learned the skills I needed for my work, but I never really pursued any learning outside of what I had to. Once I became a Satanist, I became more exposed to the works of other great authors and philosophies. Nietzsche, Jung, Adler, Robert Greene, Andrew Carnegie, all authors I would have never come to on my own but for my application of Satanism. Not only that, but seeing others apply these in real time also led me to want to learn more about them. For example, one friend I had made in the Church of Satan is a huge proponent of Stoicism. It all sounded like a good idea to me, so I started to study it. And guess what? I don't really agree with Stoicism, such as it is, but at least now I know enough about it to know it doesn't resonate with me, which is something I never could have said before. Really, Satanism is about me, not you, not us, not the collective. Me, myself, I. The ability, nay, the responsibility to learn, develop, and grow into the best version of myself that I can be, because I deserve it. That's what Satanism means to me. What about you? What does Satanism mean to you? Are you able to answer the why question, or are you still trying to resolve your reasons, to justify it to yourself and to others? I am that I am. Can you say the same? Let's pause here. When we come back, we are joined by the inimitable Miz Wiz. Stay tuned.
This is Grendel Deathhawk, active member of the Church of Satan and host of the Undertaking Satan podcast. Satanism for me is a rational and carnal system of deeply held truths. Satanism is my religion. Satanism is not simply my practice, but also my praxis. Satanism is my answer to my impending demise, my rage against that fact, and my lust for life. Hail Satan.
What does Satanism mean to me? Satanism is the love of this world and the love of this life, as expressed through my love of myself.
To me, Satanism is about truth, logic, self-improvement, and freedoms, and not the freedoms of do as thou wilt, because we know that there's consequences to your actions, right? It's more about the freedom of being able to live your life, enjoy food, enjoy sex, enjoy music, and to have a good time and to have a bad time and to just live. But it's about experiencing what we have, since there's only one life to live. That's what Satanism is to me.
Satanism empowers me to push myself to the highest level of achievement I can muster, while indulging my pleasures and hobbies to the fullest. In practice, Satanism is the union of intellect and intuition, creating something greater than the sum of its parts.
You are listening to the Neutral Wisdom podcast. For comments, questions, or suggestions, email us at information@neutralwisdom.ca.
Elevate your style with the epitome of sophistication and charm. Introducing the Warlock Emporium, where fine craftsmanship meets timeless design. It's not just an accessory, it's a statement of your impeccable taste. My high-quality clothing, jewelry, business accessories, and home decor aren't just additions to your lifestyle, they're conversation starters. So please visit me at thewarlockemporium.com today, because being a gentleman never goes out of style.
I am not a religious person. I would have said before I found Satanism. Satanism has made me realize that there is no one but me that rules and is responsible for my life. For good and sometimes bad, there are no gods out there that I can plead for help to, or that I have to please, to not get punished. It's that I can like whatever I like, just for my own indulgence sake. I need no one else's permission or acceptance to buy that old original Blue Note pressing, smoke that cigar, or drink that ice-cold Dr. Pepper with utmost joy. I don't have to feel bad to manipulate people or situations for personal gain. It's about being amazing to people I like and a nightmare to people that do me or the ones I love bad. Satan is a symbol for all the things I see as good and empowering, and Satanism is the tool to get there.
To me, Satanism is a religion that is individualistic based on each individual person. It is also a religion of self-reliance. It is a religion of responsibility to the responsible and being in control of your own life. It's a religion of self-empowerment.
Kia ora, greetings from New Zealand. To me, Satanism is a pathway to the self. The philosophy empowers me to be the best I can be, and I apply it to all aspects of my life, especially as a songwriter and a musician. I believe in the power of indulgence as a core element of the songwriting process, allowing unimpeded exploration of creative possibilities.
When I first read the Satanic Bible by Anton Szandor LaVey, I recognized I'd always naturally aligned with the religion he described. He was describing me. I'm able to apply the principles of Satanism in my daily life to enhance who I am and get what I want through various tactics of manipulation and expressions of will. Hail Satan.
And we are back with the Neutral Wisdom Podcast. Our guest today should be no stranger to you if you listen to the show. She's an American professional wrestler, actor, and television personality. He is signed to WWE, where he performs on the SmackDown brand under the ring name The Miz. Wait a second. Shit. Wrong Wikipedia page. Sorry, Miz Wiz. Welcome to the show. So you're back. You get your one episode per season per your contract, I guess, huh?
Contract? I never signed such a thing. Where is it?
It's hidden within the archives, but people seem to want to listen to what you have to say for some reason, probably because you end up putting me in my place 90% of the time.
Or just because I like to yap, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here nonetheless.
Yay. Okay. So you know what we're talking about today, and you read the essay from the top of the program, and you have some interesting input on this because I know you can be rather opinionated from time to time. So way back in season 1, when you first came on this show, you very clearly stated that you were not a Satanist, but that's a little different now. So tell us about that and how you got to where you are right now.
Well, I'm still not officially a Satanist. However, I would say that I know a little bit more about the religion and its people. I actually had the benefit, as you know, of visiting New York last October. We had an excellent time and meeting so many interesting people who really, really inspired me, really changed the way I perceived Satanism.
Inspired you for what?
The creativity, the inspiration to not, hide my weird, the feeling of just immediately being accepted without having to make any effort to fit in was amazing. Kind of feeling like you've met your people, you've, met your community was a really, really interesting and lovely experience. I enjoyed the energy and that inclusivity that is difficult to find today. Yeah, that experience helped me grow into my understanding of Satanism today.
What did you think about it before we went versus what you think about it now?
I think it was more theoretical. Like I wasn't surprised. And maybe that was actually what was surprising about it. You kind of get into your own head and you have these preconceived notions of what to expect. And then sometimes going and actually experiencing what you expect is as surprising as not. It's kind of a surreal experience. it took me a long time coming back from that trip to come back to quote unquote reality, and I don't even think I fully did. I think that I came back somewhat changed, as weird as that might sound. It was that intense of an experience. I just came back a little different, or a little more accepting of who I now saw as the me I could be. Pretty inspirational.
It is. I mean, I didn't know what you expected going there, but yeah, you had a really good time and we met a lot of great people, and
We
I know
did.
that it's inspired you, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what other significant changes have you noticed since you became more involved with Satanism as opposed to before, when you just kind of said, all right, that's kind of your thing and that's cool. And the thing was, you said, I don't really want to belong to anything.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And I still somewhat feel that way. I don't necessarily feel a need to find a niche, but if I were to find something that were really in line with who I am more now than ever, Satanism comes really, really close, if not the closest to fitting the bill. So I think coming back, or being where I'm at now, I'm more accepting of myself and the things that could set me apart from others. You talk about, the herd, and now it's like, I don't even want to be a part of that. And I don't think I ever really fell in, but this allowed me the permission, or, pushed me to ensure that I didn't just fall in. I find that I'm more open about my feelings and my thoughts on things, whether or not they fit into the norm. I'm far more open about that. And the interesting thing about that is, by my being that way, I find that it affects those around me to be that way too. It's like everyone's crying out to say the truth, their truth. Everyone's crying out to want to be themselves and don't necessarily feel like they can. Whereas I just kind of slam the door open and I just say it unapologetically, right? And it gives others the freedom to do the same. It's a really interesting experience to realize that all of the fears that we have around showing ourselves and being ourselves don't necessarily have to exist. So yeah, I feel I'm just not as concerned about others' opinions. Could also be age. As you get older, you get that freedom where it's like, to hell with that. I'm just, this is who I am and this is how I feel. So maybe it's really good timing. I don't know. But it's allowing me to explore the things that I find truly move me without the hesitation that I used to have. And I share it. I'm open about it, good or bad, accepting or not. This is who I am. So it's great.
Not quite. I try to get you to share a lot of things, and you still kind of downplay yourself and, oh, I'm not as good as so and
Okay,
so, and I
no.
can't.
I'm okay. So that's not okay. I share a lot about, in fact, even the things that I'm not as confident about that you think I should be, I'll share it. I'm just not going to say I'm great at it. Right? That's honesty.
It's not even so much honesty. I think if you're going to do something, if you're going to create something, you got to own that thing and say, this is the best effort that I've put out. Can I get better?
True.
Yes, I can get better, but right now, this is the best effort that I have to put out. And I suck at art, but I think your art is amazing. I always have.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep at it. But I'm not going to present myself as an expert or fantastic at any one thing. But I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to love doing it. And that's really what matters.
So you talked about the herd. I thought it was interesting that that word has come into your vernacular. So has becoming more involved with Satanism changed the way you see or interact with other people? I'm a dedicated misanthrope. I can't stand anybody except for you and the dog for the most part. So what about
our
you?
Kid, right? Don't forget our kid.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, we did replace her with the dog. But for you, do you have more patience with people or less? Do you notice things you never used to? Like, are you more in tune with the rampant stupidity exhibited by the herd? So has your attitude towards people in general changed or stayed the same?
So I've always been relatively patient with people, though as I experience just general people, the less I like them. So my patience is waning. That again could also be partially age. But I find that I'm more in tune with the herd behavior, and I actually find it interesting. I'm more in tune with who exhibit more of the kind of the follower behavior and those who don't, who actually stick out, end up being people that I'm more attracted to. So that's kind of interesting. Just being able to pick them out of a crowd is fun. I'm still generally accepting of people, but I keep my circle very, very small. So, I mean, the general population has very little personal impact on me, and I do that on purpose. But I'm more likely now to challenge herd people just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? It just kind of gets me going. It's like, no, I'm going to challenge that because I recognize that that's just common behavior or common reaction, and I think generally people could be better than that if they wanted to be.
So do you see yourself as being above that kind of herd behavior, or are you just more in tune with it and able to separate yourself from it?
I'm still struggling with the idea of being above anything or anyone. And I say that because as I've matured, it's like the older I get, the more I know I don't know. So it's almost humbling to word it like I'm above anybody else. I'm still, and I may always be uncomfortable with that, but I am apart from others.
Yes and no. I mean, you know how I feel and how the majority.
You've been above a lot of people for a long, long time.
You bet your ass I have. But that falls into stratification of society, and that water seeks its own level, and that
Indeed.
I am truly a rose among thorns.
Indeed,
especially living here in our town where we live. Yeah, I don't even need to go any further lest I give too much away. But do you see yourself? Do you see us as a unit? Do you see stratification taking effect there? Or is a little bit of the stoic in you still kind of coming out and saying, oh, we have to be nice to everybody? And,
Okay, being nice to everybody, we could really go down a rabbit hole with that. We live in this society and we need to live among society. We choose to. We live in a town. It's a relatively small town. So there's a certain level of accepting where you are that needs to happen in order to continue to live here in peace. Being peaceful with others is more, my goal than being nice, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, the saying is be among them, but be not of them. But in no part of that sentence does it say you have to like them.
No, absolutely not. And you're right. Like doesn't even come into play the majority of the time.
So does this Satanism give you justification, or does it give you confidence to not like somebody now? Because as we know, everybody loves Miz Wiz, but you don't like everybody. And I know you used to feel guilty about that.
Well, and so did you, right? That was, a bit of actually more of a struggle for you than it was for me, to be honest. I think you're far more the proverbial Satanist than I am in that regard. I don't feel I must like other people. I am far, far, far beyond that. And I've been beyond that for quite a while. So that part of Satanism really is I'm at one with that. But I don't feel the need to, to lock horns with people or to stir the pot. Like I'd much rather live and let live.
So about interacting with other people, do you find that you're a little more conscious of the way you interact with other people? Do you find that you're applying what we call lesser magic in your daily life now more than you have?
I would say I'm doing it more consciously. Definitely doing it more. I think I've always applied lesser magic. Always. I've always been, people would consider me a people person, which is ironic because I don't generally like a lot of people. But I do have this kind of ability to interact in, again, a peaceful and cohesive way. So it's always worked really well for me at work. My colleague and I, we play good cop, bad cop all the time. And I am actually the good cop. And that's simply because I know how to grease the wheels. But I wouldn't necessarily say that's mass manipulation. It's just a means to an end. The way I apply lesser magic on a day-to-day basis has to come from a place of honesty. It can't just be, a lie or just to benefit myself. Yes, I use lesser magic, but I use it more consciously now and with a specific goal.
So that's part of the things that you've learned as you've come along on this journey. So what else have you learned since becoming more involved with this about yourself, about others, and about your relationship with yourself and or with others?
You know what I've come to realize, which is interesting and timely because, I'm not 20 anymore. I have come to learn to have fun. To have fun. It's just such a simple thing. And yet you get so involved in the day-to-day grind that it's so easy to forget, right? Like the one thing that I came to realize that I admire most about others is those who don't take themselves seriously. That's something that I'm embracing. Things don't always have to be perfect. And you can look at something that's unfortunate and try to find something funny or something to learn from it. Like just not take everything so seriously. I study more. I want to know more. Like I want to not just believe it. I want to understand it. I challenge myself more, push my boundaries and get out of my comfort zone. Those are things that growing up, I was very sheltered in a lot of ways. My parents they were good parents and they did everything that they could to make life easier for me, which did not help me as an adult. So now I'm trying to push outside of that, not be comfortable all the time. I find that I care less about fitting in and being liked. And that's really, really freeing. And ironically, I've learned that others aren't as interested in me as I thought. Those who have learned about our affiliation with Satanism have been incredibly cool about it. Friends and strangers. We've had some interesting experiences with people that we know and don't know. And it's always been, surprisingly positive experience, which you would think there'd be more, shock or I'm shocked and appalled. How could you be a Satanist? There's been none of that. It's been really accepting.
So I want to just go into a little bit of a background here before I ask you this next question. Your dad is going through some issues at the moment. He's now in a personal care home and outstaying his welcome, as we say, in the nicest way possible. Love that guy. He used to hate me and now he doesn't remember who I am. So now we're best friends. You're also his wife, so I guess
you don't know I'm his sister these days.
His sister,
but
yes.
You do have to look at the silver lining in all things, right?
So how have your views on life and death changed? Are you looking at this type of thing differently than you used to before?
I think it's a natural progression when you're dealing with somebody close to you in life who is, coming to close to their expiration date. Especially something as slow and obvious as dementia. You can't help but put a lot of thought into that. I think for me, it's been teaching me to accept that some things are inevitable. I feel that in terms of death, that I'm calmer about it. I mean, really, realistically, it's a shared experience among us all. None of us are, gonna avoid this. And when I think about that, I'm not the first and I won't be the last. It does weirdly give me some comfort. Also, particularly through my father's experience, I'm learning that some things are also controllable through understanding of what you're going through and making an effort. There's a lot that you can do to change, the direction that you're going. In my case, I am very dedicated to, avoid dementia in my future. So I'm studying, researching, I'm paying attention, to new science, and I'm applying the things that I can to prevent that. Beyond that, I've learned that you just need to accept the path you're on sometimes, enjoy the ride while you can. It still leaves you with a little bit of a helpless feeling, but I think that's kind of part of the human experience. We can't control it all. It's humbling.
Yeah, what's really amazing about it, and I guess we might have sounded a little callous about it at the beginning of this part of the conversation. And really, we love the guy to death. I mean, he had his
Well, and it's
problems.
also been, what, a year and a half in, right? Like, we've
Well,
been living
sure.
this for a while, and it was a very, very intense experience when we were first kind of thrown into this. So we've gotten past a lot of those initial feels and scares and stresses, and now we're left with kind of the pieces left behind. So
Well, and it's a show, right? It's definitely a show to talk about dementia and kind of the things that are the fallout from it. The neat thing is watching him kind of makes you realize that you have to live in the moment.
Indeed you do.
You can't, he's not the same guy that couldn't stand me for 18 years.
Yeah.
And once I let that go, now I love going and visiting him. He cracks me up.
It's a whole new relationship,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's almost like getting a do-over in a strange way. There's some positive, and there's just a lot to learn if you're in the moment and being conscious of everything that's going on and not hanging on to the past and just going through this as a new experience. There's so much to learn and apply to yourself.
Well, the fascinating thing is, I remember you grieving. You
Oh,
grieve the living, because literally that man that you knew was gone. And so you grieve the living. And I think that's going to make his passing a little easier, because you've done a big majority of it, right? So we're going to have to save that for another show. So, your contractual 1 episode per season in season 4 is probably going to be that one. So, loaded question for you. Have I changed since I became a Satanist, and for better or for worse?
Okay, all for better. All for better. Really, you're calmer. You still have zero patience for people. That has not changed. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to either. So the main thing with you is you're at peace with yourself. You're not having that inner battle that you have had for really years, honestly, that made you sometimes difficult to live with. You're honest about yourself. Again, you're unapologetic about that. And that is amazing. And people react to that, not in a bad way, in a good way. It's almost like if you can say, yeah, you know what, this is not for me. This is not it. And it allows other people to actually agree with you, because how many times have we been in a situation where it's like, it's not socially acceptable for you to say, I don't want to be here. And yet when you do, others are like, yeah, I don't want to be here either. Right. And it's like, all of a sudden you end up having a better time because you've kind of opened that up. Right. And now people have the freedom to actually be themselves, which is super cool. So yeah, you're not struggling with that feeling bad about yourself, like you used to have that inner battle of, I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person because I'm not like this. Right. And you're not having that anymore. Like our home is more peaceful. Bring it on. Like, we'll embrace this.
Okay, I'll take it. So here's a question that wasn't on the list. Like, a lot of people have submitted what Satanism means to them, and we've been playing these clips on the show. So what does Satanism mean to Miz Wiz?
You had to do that. I'm not prepared. I think I'm still learning. I think Satanism is different for everybody. I think you're going to connect with different things. For me, it really comes down to freedom to be yourself, freedom to express yourself the way that you choose to. I think that there's still, like anything, a certain level of awareness, that you need to apply. Really, it's the growing. I think that, the religion really supports growth and learning, maturing, evolving. And I think that's super cool, because unlike other religions that are very limiting and really kind of construct the box in which you need to live, Satanism is the complete opposite spectrum. It's just a cool thing to live within and grow within.
We got to get you that red card, because, besides your FOMO, it's
my FOMO.
You're missing out. Absolutely. So, anything else that you'd like us to know? And there is, because you started doing stuff like you said, and I love it. So I want to hear about your painting and your drawing. You're growing things in our window that may or may not be marijuana. You won't tell me. And I know now that you're journaling on a regular basis. You're writing a story of your life. You're on like volume 76A or something like that. So what is it that you're doing these days?
Thank you, New York, and all of our experiences, because I really was so inspired with my trip there that I started to question, what makes me me? What am I passionate about these days? What inspires me? And how would I put that out into the world? Like, I really admire the things that you do. Like, you're just putting yourself out there and you're just doing the things. You just come home and you say, well, this is a cool thing. I think I'm going to try that too. And then you do it, and I think that's really cool. And here I am, cooking dinner. So
see, you need to put out more. That's what I keep telling you.
It always has to come down to that.
Yeah, put out more.
I mean?
I'm going on record. Miz Wiz needs to put out more.
Give me a break. So I used to make jewelry way back in another life. I used to draw and sketch when I was really young. And I've, really pretty much given up all of that. I'm not giving it up, on purpose, just over time, just haven't had time or haven't, put the time aside for it. So suddenly I became interested in watercolor, which I have no idea why, because it's never been a medium that I've ever been interested in. Like, I love charcoal and I love pencil drawings and, that kind of thing. So I just thought, no, I want to give this a shot. And I've become obsessed with it. Right now, I'm just playing with it. I'm trying different things. I really need to sit myself down and actually learn techniques. Right now, I'm just having fun. And I'm getting back into sketching, which has been a lot of fun too. It's amazing how quickly that comes back. This is the first year I actually start doing seedlings. I've been watching my little baby seedlings grow since I planted them, and so far haven't killed anything. So we'll see if they survive the transplanting stage. Fingers crossed. This year I started marking things in a journal ahead of time so that I'd be prepared and I kind of knew where I was going. So I'm trying to be a little bit more studious about this kind of thing. I started journaling in 2022 because I started feeling like every day was melting into the next. And that was really bothering me. And I think part of that was feeling the time go by and have nothing to show for it. That was disturbing me. So I needed a way to account for the days. I'm also into genealogy, so I became really disappointed with the lack of written material that I could find, even from my grandparents, let alone, generations before. And I thought, I don't want to miss the opportunity to leave that behind for our daughter, for, her children, should she ever have any. So I have written in this journal every day since I decided to do it. I think I'm on journal number 9. So that's my attempt of leaving a mark.
Of which I have not read a word.
Except for the few words that I have shown you. So I put things in there every day. I put in any dreams that I have, my sleep. I put in fun things like photos, ticket stubs, receipts, just, things that I would be interested in if my grandparents, had done that. I think it'll be interesting for people in the future, should, the journal survive that long, to look at those things and see how things were in our day, and I'm trying not to hold back. I'm putting it out there. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm happy, I'm happy. And it's interesting, once you write it down, then it brings a whole new life to whatever it is that you're experiencing, right? It's out there.
I'm sure that my name has a lot of colorful adjectives in front of it right now.
You would be surprised. You would be surprised how lovely you are in my journals.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say I'd be surprised at how big your vocabulary is.
Anyway, so I have a lot keeping me busy right now. I'm just going to, kind of continue to explore my hobbies and discover the things that interest me and go from there. It's been a really, really fun ride.
And put out more. You got it.
Oh,
be creative and put out more.
On.
Hey, just out of curiosity, do you have any merch for sale? And if you do, where can we get it?
I've got a cute shirt. I do have a cute shirt on the Neutral Wisdom website. I think we need to make some changes to it, though. I think we need to update it.
I did update it.
Did you already? Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
Then
I
it's ready
did.
to go. Then maybe I need one of my updated shirts.
I think so. There's one of you and there's one of you and me in the name of this podcast. So, I mean, you'd be crazy not to own this. Robert
Why
Shirley
are
and
those
Miz
things
Wiz
not
shirt.
in my closet?
I don't know. I haven't ordered them yet. I mean,
Let's get on that then.
you know, I'm not in the retail business. You know, I if people want the stuff, I'll have the stuff made. But other than that, well, as always, it's been a slice. I thank you so much for sharing your views on Satanism and what Satanism has done for you. And again, I'm going to have you back on the show next season, and I think the topic's going to be fantastic. I think right after I hit stop on this recording, we should go out on the deck and have a cigar and a drink.
Yes, I'm there. I'll meet you out there.
I'll see you upstairs. By the way, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Neutral Wisdom Podcast. I'd like to thank all of you for listening, and a huge thank you to our guests and all of you for joining us today. Please drop a like or comment down below. For questions or comments, you can email me directly at information@neutralwisdom.ca. You can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. A like and subscribe go a long way in getting this podcast out there. Check me out on Facebook under Robert Shirley, and check out Instagram at neutral_wisdom. And be sure to visit the website at neutralwisdom.ca. And don't forget, Neutral Wisdom, Contemplations of a Satanic Warlock, now available at Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle formats. Until next time, ever forward.
You have been listening to the Neutral Wisdom Podcast. For more information, email us at information.neutralwisdom.ca, Facebook under Robert Shirley, or Instagram at neutral_wisdom. Also check out our website at neutralwisdom.ca. Program copyrighted 2025. Devilish Gentleman Enterprises.